Hello, good morning. It's Adil Fazal here, market analyst at CFDs.com, bringing you a review or morning market review of the European indices. This video is being brought to you courtesy of CFDs.com. Be sure to visit their website and certainly explore their products and services. And there is a potential new bonus offer available for all new trading accounts. Alternatively, you can visit the educational site, which is www.cfds.education, where I post my analysis and more. Okay, let's try and review the markets this morning in terms of the price action. Now, overnight, obviously, we've had the Asian markets mixed. We've had the Nikkei, obviously, and the Chinese markets relatively mixed. So you've had the Nikkei that's actually finished higher for the day, up by almost 3%, whilst the Shanghai is actually down by 2.5%. So a mixed picture there. Okay. Now, in terms of economic data overnight, we've had stronger data from China. Trade balance better than expected. The exports better than expected, and especially given the fact that they were expected at -8%, they actually came in at -1.4. Imports actually slightly better than expected. They were expected -11.5. They came in at -7.6%. Okay, so that certainly is helping risk this morning. As you can see, the FTSE 100 certainly is higher. If I bring the FTSE 100 up for you and explain. There we go. Okay, so the FTSE on a 60-minute chart will certainly be able to explain that for you. So we're obviously into that resistance at 6010 now, and we're certainly holding that thus far on the FTSE 100. Now, in terms of economic data in terms of Europe, we've had the inflation data out of France, and that's certainly come out better than expected, so that should certainly help the euro remain afloat. We do have further CPI data out of the EU zone, industrial production as well. And out of the US, we have Mr. Rosenberg speaking, and we have mortgage applications, crude oil stocks change, and we have Mr. Evans speaking as well. We've got the Fed beige book. So a raft of economic data that will obviously dictate prices in FX. Now, so far, the stronger Chinese data certainly has been factored in, especially given the fact that the FTSE 100 finished at a pivot low of 5930, and obviously we've pushed higher now up to 6010. So the gap higher certainly has factored in the bullish news. Okay, so therefore from here, the bias certainly remains negative at present, especially given the fact that we've got solid resistance at 6010, and that is expected to hold in the interim, okay, on the FTSE 100. Now, the daily chart of the FTSE 100, just give you an insight here, we certainly have bounced from that 5875, which I explained, and the 60-minute is now obviously into resistance. The 10-minute chart is showing you resistance as well, and the gap remains vulnerable, so remember, keep that gap in mind. We have previous resistance equals support here at 5940, and then obviously you've got gap fill at 5930. So 5940, 5930 will be key areas to certainly observe in terms of the support and resistance. Okay, now going over to the Euro stocks now. Euro stocks certainly is bouncing, certainly has moved higher, okay, in terms of compared to the FTSE itself. The gap higher, I did expect I'm actually short from the 3100 levels. My stop loss is 3130. I was expecting the gap to close initially, so if I go to a 10-minute chart, you have this gap fill below at 3065. I expected that to close given the fact that the Shanghai index obviously was under immense pressure. Okay. Also given the fact that we had stronger inflation data out of France, and that certainly negates the QE argument, and therefore you are looking for lower prices in European equities. So again, it has broken out. Obviously, the next resistance level is at 3140, which is gap fill. But given the fact that we've had stronger inflation data, and obviously China is down as well, it's very hard to envisage really the European indices moving any higher at this juncture. You do have support again, like I said, at 3075, 3065, and that will be the level to target on the downside for the Euro stocks. Okay, my stop loss is at 3130, still alive. And we shall see how this trade unfolds. Okay, now going over to the actual European indices now, alternative. So you have the German DAX. The German DAX, obviously, you have got gap fill here at 10220. That certainly will need to be kept an eye on. In terms of the inverted head and shoulders formation, you can see that we certainly have broken out here on the 60-minute chart. And on the 10-minute chart as well, give you an insight on the German DAX. It certainly does look top heavy with a topping tail at this region. Again, your gap fill is 10 to 20, but given the fact that we've got the Shanghai down minus 2.5% overnight, and given the fact that China dictates price action, and dictate sentiment, it's going to be very hard for us to close that gap at this juncture, from my interpretation and understanding, especially with a weaker, stronger reading on inflation, and obviously that kills the QE argument. So bear that in mind. Again, going back into support on the German DAX, you'll see support at 10,890. If that were to go, then obviously you've got support at 9,985. So bear that in mind. Okay, now in terms of the French CAC, let's go over that for you as well. I mean, as you know, with my video yesterday, I was calling for a rally, and that's exactly what's occurred. So go back to yesterday's video to understand and see as to why I was expecting the markets to rally. Now at this juncture, I do expect the market certainly to find weakness, especially given the fact that we've had the terrorist incident yesterday in Turkey, in Istanbul, and today we have two more further geopolitical concerns. One with regards to the US sailors being interviewed or being interrogated by the Iranians. And obviously we have this situation with regards to North Korea. I think there was some escalation yesterday with regards to some drone. Okay, so it certainly doesn't bode well. Oil prices obviously are a major factor, given the fact that they were below the pivot low at $30 yesterday, but have subsequently rebounded on the stronger Chinese data. Again, going back, any retracement will be a buying opportunity from my perspective, but I do expect a retrace given the fact that the Shanghai was certainly weak. Okay, now the actual French CAC, as you can see here, you have the gap fill at 4480. That certainly is a level that we may well close. But given the fact that the Shanghai obviously is weak, it's going to be very hard for us to do that for now. Again, that gap fill below at 4380 will certainly come into play. Okay, daily chart of the French CAC, you certainly have held gap fill, you've bounced, and it's all about that gap above. Okay, so it certainly is coming into turbulence and resistance. FTSE 100, I've already discussed. The level at 6010 should hold. You are now looking at potential retracement on the FTSE. If you do get a retracement, then you are looking at these levels here, 5980 and 5970 as potential support zones. Okay. In terms of oil, let's just quickly go on and obviously elaborate on the price of oil, because it certainly seems to be dictating. Now the price of copper, before I go into oil, certainly is still weak. It's still made a new low. It's consolidating above that low, below that low, and obviously is vulnerable to further drops. Okay, so certainly further falls and further drops. So bear that in mind as well. Now the chart of oil itself, yes, we've had this nice little rebound. Where it can sustain itself isn't the question, and we certainly need to see a higher high and a higher low to really gain some conviction. The dollar index on the daily chart certainly is holding into resistance on the horizontal resistance at the 12,200 region. Okay, so again, that certainly needs to be observed carefully as well as to the potential next move. Okay, right, I think that's a wrap in terms of the actual market this morning. Again, the Shanghai being down 2.5% overall is net negative for the markets, and certainly isn't a positive catalyst or a bullish catalyst that can drive indices higher. So take that into consideration when trading. Again, any retrace is going to be a buying opportunity given the stronger Chinese data. Okay, but given the fact that the gap higher certainly has, I mean, look at this gap from 3065 up to 3120, 60 points higher on the Euro stocks. One could argue that the strong or bullish news certainly has all been baked into the cake. Okay, I think that's a wrap. Wish you a good trading day. I'll do an afternoon update and give you further insight. I will try and do a US video as well and elaborate on as to where the US markets are and where the potential next direction is. Be sure to visit cfds.com for your trading needs. Adios.